There are a lot of great inventions that make our life easier, more comfortable, and more interesting. The new ones appear almost every day. We often think that these inventions are the result of some unusual ideas of people, but it is not always completely true. Some of these ideas come from the special evolutionary mechanisms that animals have. Here in our list, we're gonna tell you about the coolest inventions that we took from animal world. 11. Cat's eyes, reflective road stud. Safety on the road is one of the most essential things for drivers. In 1933, an Englishman, Percy Shaw, invented a revolution material that helped to create a unique reflective road stud. He was driving dangerously along a very dark and foggy road, when suddenly he saw a pair of bright cat's eyes looking at him in his headlights. At that revolutionary moment, Percy realized that reflectors in the road could guide drivers at night, whatever the weather. The next year, he patented the cat's eye reflective road studs. They were just glass bead reflectors wrapped in a rubber casing and iron box embedded in the road. But now, of course, they are much more effective. 10. A woodpecker's head, shock absorbers. Do you know that a woodpecker's head experiences decelerations of 1200 G as it drums on a tree at up to 22 times per second? Humans often feel frustrated if they experience 80 to 100 G, but a woodpecker doesn't suffer brain damage at all. This unique feature was used by scientists that invented shock absorbers for flight recorders that collect data of the air crush. Two scientists from the University of California, Sang-Hee Yoon and Seung-Min Park, studied carefully the video and CT scans of the woodpecker's head and neck. They found out that a woodpecker has 4 structures that absorb mechanical shock. It has a hard but very elastic beak. It also has a sinewy and springy tongue-supporting structure. This thing sits behind the skull and is called the hyoid. There is also an area of spongy bone in its skull. Besides, the way the skull and cerebrospinal fluid interact to suppress vibration is also very important. The scientists found the artificial analogs for all these structures. So, they managed to create a mechanical shock absorbing system to protect microelectronics that works in the same way. 9. A worm, tunnel boring machine. Yes, it is true! Present tunnel boring machines are the small copies of a real earthworm. These mechanisms eat earth like a real worm does, working with cycles of digging forward and dragging the rear end afterwards. They can bore through anything from hard rock to sand. A big tunnel is left after that. The first machine like that was created by Henry Joseph Moss in 1846. It was called Mountain Slicer. 8. A humpbacked whale's fin, an improved turbine fin. You know that a humpbacked whale can weigh up to 45 tons. But in spite of this fact, it moves in the water with ease and with a very high speed. One of the reasons is knobbles on serrate fins. Noticing that, scientists and engineers added several rows of such knobbles on the turbine fins of different mechanisms. They use them now on helicopter turbines and windmill turbines to reduce wind resistance and noise level. 7. Fireflies, bioluminescence. In spite of a tiny size, fireflies can produce very bright light. The secret is simple. These insects have special light organs that are located on the last uromeres under transparent cuticles. They are formed by photogenous cells. Under these cells, the special light reflector is placed. It consists of special cells that contain crystals of uric acid. Learning this mechanism, scientists managed to create a light-emitting diode that dives off light 55 times brighter than a firefly's. 6. Kingfishers and high-speed electric passenger train. Could you ever guess that the design of an electric passenger train was influenced by the bird's biology? The Japanese Shinkansen electro-multiple unit train allows to travel from Shin Osaka to Hakata in about 2 hours and 20 minutes, with the speeds of 217 miles per hour. Such high speed includes very loud noise, strong vibration, and pressure waves occurring when the train passed through a tunnel. Eiji Nakatsu, the Japanese engineer and birds admirer, solved this problem. He used the information about the kingfisher birds he had learned earlier. The point is that the shape of the kingfisher's head and beak allow this bird to glide through the air and practically dive into water to grip fish. It is the most efficient animal on Earth to transition from low pressure of air to high pressure of water. And now, almost all high-speed trains can go through the tunnels almost without any noise. 5. Lobster and transient X-ray detecting technology. The group of scientists from the American Space Agency created the transient X-ray detection technology after studying the underlying structure of lobster eyes. Lobsters live in the depth where visibility is almost absent. That's why through evolution, they got the skill to see through objects. The arthropod can do this by using a huge array of tiny channels that focus light by reflection. Watching this, the scientists invented Lobster All-Sky X-ray Monitor. This device allows to investigate all the space thanks to unlimited field of vision. It can capture the sky for sudden, violent events, such as black holes swallowing stars. 4. Geckos and super sticky device Geck Skin. Inspired by gecko's toes, the polymer scientists and biologists from Massachusetts University could create a Geck Skin, a super sticky device. It is so strong that it can stick a person to the ceiling by just one hand. Why is it so strong? Geckos are known for their skill to hang from the ceiling by a single toe. About 60% of gecko species have the ability to attach to any surface and release when they want. Besides, the lizards can hold a significant amount of weight. They can do this because they got a very cool instrument through evolution. Their digits are covered in millions of tiny hairs that bond with any surface. The unique tape is covered with millions of protruding plastic polymer hairs. They allow to get extremely close to the molecules that a surface is made up of. As the result, few inches square can hold 700 pounds on the surface as smooth as glass. It can be released with almost no effort, and can be reused many times with no loss of effectiveness. 3. Flaps on planes and birds' wings. Do you remember small flags that appear on the plane's wings during the landing? This very tricky technology was also taken from the animal world. The aviation uses it to let the aircraft balance and hold in the air while slowing. The scientists saw this technology in the bird's wing structure. The bird's feathers are divided into two types, basic and minor ones. The last ones are adopted for special flying. The point is that the bird's wings has a part that is called a lula. It helps the birds to become stable using the opening slot. And this specific thing is used in creating aircrafts. 2. Cuttlefish and TV screen. Cuttlefish are unique animals. They are masters of camouflage and can change their skin color in less than a second to hide from predators or draw in prey for hunting. Scientists found out that these cuttlefish have this ability because of producing special chemicals that change the spacing between membranes. The researchers from Massachusetts Institute of Technology are developing an artificial electrical system that controls the spacing between layers and thereby changes the colors on the screen. So, now there are screens that use less than 1/100th of the power of traditional television screens. These screens are cheap to make and easy to assemble from layers of polystyrene and poly-2 vinyl. When voltage rises, the poly-2 vinyl expands to reflect longer wavelengths of light, starting with blue and ending with red. Scientists say that the screen can also reflect non-visible waves of light. The screen stays completely dark if there's no light in the space. 1. A boxfish and a bionic car. In having a car, aerodynamics, safety, capacity, and environmental friendliness are very important things, but they are very hard to coincide. Some scientists trying to connect all these things turn to the SeaWorld to do that. The engineers from Mercedes-Benz company paid their attention to little yellow creature, a boxfish. In spite of looking weird, it moves very effectively in the water. Boxfish interest biologists because they have very different morphologies from most flexible-bodied fish, yet they are highly maneuverable. It has extremely low flow resistance, with a drag coefficient of an incredible 0.06. For comparison, a penguin which flies through water and is thought to be highly aerodynamic moves with a coefficient of 0.19. The bionic car is a bit inferior to the fish in its characteristics, of course, but it is very light and its aerodynamic qualities are extremely effective. It is the end of our list. Hope you find it interesting and useful. What Technic-Animal collaboration did you like most? Let me know in the comments below. See you!